which means State University of New York, the Franconia campus. She is the Dean of College of Education now. Her expertise is a special education, and she is the area of her study, research, and teaching is related to the area of education of students with emotional behavior disorder and learning disability. And she tries to use the technology to facilitate the learning of students with disability, with gifts and talents, or at risk for academic failure. And we believe she is a very good teacher, instructor, and speaker. So we are very happy today to invite her to deliver this on stage to you. Please be attentive and be responsive. If she has any interaction with you, be ready and speak out. Okay? Yeah, I believe you because you are our 8 students. Wonderful, right? Yes. Okay, so let's see. Dr. Give her a very big hand.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm very honored to talk to you today and hopefully to have an interactive conversation with you. I know you have a variety of majors. The undergraduates are English and some graduate students in communication. How many graduate students? All right. And so I'm very happy to be here with you. And I thought it would be interesting for you, since you are interested in language, in English, for me to share with you my expertise, my experience in working with students who have special needs and who are also have a language, their primary language is other than English. And so as a teacher, how do you create a classroom environment that is supportive of their learning and their language acquisition? A little bit of a challenge. So, what I'm most passionate about in the United States is bilingual special education. And bilingual meaning English and whatever the native language is. And special education is specially designed instruction to support the learning of the student. So for instance, if a student has an emotional problem, a real severe emotional problem, they get angry very quickly and they blow up. I worked with teenagers who had emotional problems, who really couldn't function in a regular school, so they came to a day school. So not only are you trying to assist them in learning how to behave appropriately and to focus on learning, but you also have to bridge that language difference. So you have to be very creative, you have to be very sensitive to the student's needs, and you also have to have at least one other person that knows the home language, the primary language. Because there are so many languages, when I taught in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there are so many other languages that you can't begin to know all of the languages. Like when I went to school, junior high and high school, I took 4 years of Latin, and then I took 4 years of Russian. But when I went into my classroom to teach, I might have Spanish. Students who spoke Spanish is their primary language, their L1, their language, their first language, or it might be Lebanese, whatever, Chinese. So you had to be able to figure out who in the class could be that bridge of connecting the home language with English. Okay. All right. otherwise I'm going to start dancing. Okay, so when you think about what are the different areas of concern when you're a teacher, it would be regular education is a typical classroom. If you're in high school, if you're teaching history, so that's the curriculum, the core curriculum. And then the special education is how you customize or individualize teaching instruction so that the student can learn. And then the bilingual education is how you make the language connection, make examples from the L1, the primary language, so that the student understands what you're saying. So it's very, very simple things. One of the things that you have to do is when you introduce new vocabulary, you have to make sure that you spend time doing concept development, giving examples of what the word means, especially if it's abstract, like freedom or I don't know, let's see, what other abstract word would it be? What's another concept like freedom? Something that's not concrete. Yes, here. Happiness. What else? Especially with emotionally disturbed adolescents. What else? What's another abstract word that you have to really take some time and explain if someone's primary language wasn't English? Self-esteem. Yes. So you get the idea? Yes? Okay. All right. And then another thing that we would do in the classroom is to have visuals, pictures of main concepts, so that the students can connect the word they use in their L1, their primary language, with the word in English. And then the other thing is it's got to be interesting. The language has got to be interesting. You can't be boring. So you've got to make it interesting. So maybe you sing about the concept. Maybe you have them write a poem about it. Maybe you have them act out the words so that they really deeply understand what that concept is. And then the other thing that I think really helps when you're working with students who are bilingual or who you want to be bilingual, to be fluent in both languages, is cooperative learning and peer tutoring. Now, why do you think that would be? Why is cooperative learning good if you're learning another language and you're trying to learn in another language? Why do you think? Be brave. Yes. Yes. So you're practicing, right? You're practicing. And the other thing as a teacher, what you find is sometimes peer-to-peer or student-to-student, they explain better than a teacher-to-student. Any other thing that you can think of why cooperative learning would be good for bilingual practice? All right. Also, a teacher must use the native language, especially when students are the word floundering, when they're struggling, when they quite don't know what's going on. Well, here's what happened when I was in Los Angeles as a teacher. We had a Saturday learning school, and we had several different languages. And what we would do is to have a small group of students, 8th graders, 9th graders, junior high, that they would pick the topic they wanted to learn about. So we made it thematically based. So if they wanted to learn about basketball, or maybe design, or something like that, whatever they wanted to learn about. And when they would develop a report, or they might develop a play, or they might develop a video, whatever they wanted to do to demonstrate what they had learned about that topic. And you would have maybe 1 or 2 students who were totally non-speakers of English. We would also have students who had immigrated from Mexico, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, pretty fluent in English, still speaking what they call Spanish English, but able to make that connection to the students who are non-English speakers. And so in their learning together, they would use Spanish to explain things. And then that would help me be able to speak Spanish. Because I speak just a bit of Spanish. Lots of Russian, but just a bit of Spanish. And also use formal and informal opportunities to practice English. So using English as we go to lunch, have the students practice English, appropriate English, functional English, so that they would learn what kinds of words to use. Like when I was in mainland China and in here, I know that thank you is "sisig." So I can say that very nicely. That's about it for right now. I've only been here 2 days though, so.